What's up everyone, Patrick here, welcome back, and in this next video we are told that a circle has a radius with these endpoints over here, -4, -1, and then 3 and -5. And given that information, we have to find the length of the radius, the length of the diameter of the circle, the area of the circle, and then the circumference. So we have this circle here with these endpoints, so we got -4 and -1 and 3 and -5, like that. This is not to scale on like a Cartesian plane, I'm just sort of drawing it out. So this here would be the radius of the circle. So what we got to do in this case is find the length of this for part A, right? And then the length, if we let this be x1, y1, if we let this be x2, y2, the length would basically equal the square root of the difference between the x values squared plus the difference between the y values squared. So we would have 3x2 minus -4, right? Be careful, put that in brackets, and then we're going to square that. Then we're going to have y2, which is -5, minus y1. Put that in brackets, and we're going to square that like that. So notice this would end up being what? 3 plus 4, which would be 7. And then 7 to the power 2 would give us 49. And then this here would be -5 plus 1, right? Because the negative turn into a positive. -5 plus 1, and then we're going to square that. So that's going to be -4 squared. -4 to the power 2 gives us positive 16, right? And then 49 plus 16, that gives us 65. So we'd have the square root of 65. And then if you want the decimal of that, you square root it, you end up getting 8.06. So that would actually be the answer to part A. Now that we have the length of the radius, well, we could just multiply it by 2 to get the length of the diameter, which would give us 16.12, right? Just in general for a circle, just as a quick review, if we got our radius, well, the diameter is just 2 radiuses, right? Or radii. Okay, so we would just take that radius, the length of this, multiply it by 2 to get the whole diameter right there. And now that we have the radius and the diameter, we could find the area and the circumference if we're asked for it. So the area of a circle is pi r squared. So it would be pi times the radius squared. And then the circumference of a circle is 2 pi r. Another formula you might see is pi times the diameter. I prefer 2 pi r, but pi times the diameter is the same thing because 2 times the r is just the diameter, right? So whichever one you use, the circumference would be 2 pi times the radius of 8.06, like that. And if you want to get the decimals, you just plug all that in your calculator. When you're doing this, make sure you square it first, then multiply it by the pi. You end up getting 204.09. Now this is going to be some kind of units. We don't know what it is, but the area, remember, it's units squared. Then the circumference is going to end up being 50.64 units, right? So this here, 204.09 units squared, whatever the units are. And then these are in units as well, right? So we first had to find the length of the radius. Then once we had the length of the radius, we can find the rest of those characteristics.